Hello everyone, this is Evan from 20sided Night. Today we're going to be talking about Deamons. And no, I'm not just being a 40k fanboy, they spell it like this, so I'm going to pronounce it like this. Specifically, Alucideamon and Alorbideamons. So first things first. Yes, these guys are a bit cringe. Hell, one or two of the longtime fans who was on the old Discord server might even remember when I posted about these goobers and had a chuckle about the concept of them and some of their abilities. So you might be thinking, okay, so if you don't like them, why are you taking the time to make a video about them? Why not make a video on something spookier like a silicone mummy or an emotivore? For some reason, they've just started growing on me, and honestly, I don't know why. It's just one of those things where they just popped into my head while going through the Alien Archive 4, and my creative juices just started flowing. So while I am going to go over them as written and give ideas for how to put them in a game, I am also going to do something I haven't done and give you my ideas for a rewrite for how they could be better. So Alucideamon and Alorbideamon can be found on page 24 of the Alien Archive 4. They are CR 4 and 12 respectively. To avoid me just reading down the list, I'm going to go over what I think makes them unique, but I'll leave them up on the screen if you want to pause and read. Alucideamons are CR 4 and considered to be extraplanar evil demons. Shocking, I know. They are immune to acid, death effects, disease, and poison. They also have resistances to cold, electricity, and fire. They have a fly speed given to them by their futuristic mobility scooter, and they are able to make melee attacks by ramming you with it, or could attack you from range with its electro discharge to zap you with its power glove. However, as you can probably tell by looking at it, the Alucideamon has probably never touched grass and is more of a spellcaster. Unsurprisingly, most of its Techno-Demon spells and abilities are technology related, like its Laser Net, which is self-explanatory, Remote Operation, which is great for when your controller falls behind your couch and you just can't be asked to grab it, and its signature move, Virtual Mortality, which allows them to focus on a living creature with access to a comm unit or a datapad. Keep in mind, if you're wearing armor, you have access to a comm unit. The target will need to make a DC 15 will save, or else they become compelled to start playing a video game. While doing so, you take a -2 penalty to your AC and saving throws. And if the target does not take a move action to play the game, which you just lost by the way, they also start to lose the game. And I guess the psychic backlash from letting FaZe Clan down causes them to take 2d6 damage. However, if they do take a move action to play, they not only get to keep their MLG status, they also get to make a saving throw to try to end the effect. Alorbideamons are the leveled up versions of Alucideamons and have a CR of 12. Basically, they are a group of Alucideamons who joined the same WoW guild and have welded their mobility scooters together. Also, this shouldn't bug me as much as it does, but the artwork for the Alorbideamons has 6 demons instead of 3, and logically you would think a CR of 12 would come from 3 of the CR 4 Alucideamons teaming up. And even though I've been in stupid kid math classes my whole life, I feel pretty confident in saying 4 times 3 is 12 and 6 times 4 is 24. Unless the implication is that the Alorbideamons are a group of really shitty Alucideamons that teamed up because, they couldn't beat the Stanley Parable or some shit.
You heartless bastard.
So like most higher level versions of monsters, Alorbideamons have higher HP, AC, melee damage, has a harder hitting electro discharge, spell DCs, resistances, and its virtual mortality is also beefed up. They also have access to better spells like Holographic Terrain, which basically creates a mini holodeck. But because of an ability they have, which I'll talk about in a bit, the safety protocols are off. So just prepare for Moriarty to kick your ass. They can render your Surge Protector useless by casting Overload Systems on you,
Oscar, I'm now going to be prone to surges,
and make your computer literally sick with instant virus. However, this thing's best ability is its Hazardous Reality. I'll put it on the screen so you can pause the video and read it if you want, but the TLDR is that the Alorbideamon has a rather large aura of just fucking with reality. If you're in this aura, you have to make a will save or get a -2 penalty to saving throws against illusions. And even if you leave the aura, you are still affected for a minute afterwards, which in combat is 10 rounds, aka forever. But if you pass the will save, you are immune to this effect for 24 hours. However, creatures that are under the effect of Hazardous Reality take 4d10 damage anytime they end their turn in an area that is affected by the Holographic Terrain spell or within 30 feet of a holographic image. Which may not sound bad because all you need to do is just use your movement to get out of the holographic terrain, or just move away from any holograms they throw at you. However, in the Starfinder universe, as stated on page 66 of the Alien Archive 3 in the description for living holograms, holographic images are pretty common. In fact, they are used in the place of flyers, signs, and billboards. Also, a lot of high-end technological items use some sort of holographic interface. But that shouldn't be a problem because it's not like a level 12 character would ever spend credits on a fancy technological gizmo with a 100K HD holographic display, right? Also, thanks to page 25 of the Starfinder Enhanced book, some of your party members could be holograms. So if you chose to be a living hologram, congratulations! You are now always within 30 feet of a hologram. So unless you somehow meet a video game loving techno demon in the woods, and all of your party members look like this, getting 30 feet away from a holographic image might be harder than you think. So now let's talk about ways you could use these monsters in your game. For example, let's say there's a vintage vid game collector who wants you to delve into the ruins of an abandoned amusement complex, known to the locals as the Fun Dome, to collect a rare pre-gap game. However, it is jealously guarded by an Alorbideamon who is currently taking residence in the old arcade. Or maybe when your players chose the VidGamer theme, and to win some extra money they entered a video game tournament, but when they get there, they find that there are more than credits on the line, and they have to get into a Devil Went Down to Georgia style game of StarCraft 2. Or maybe you're an evil party and you're contracted by Alorbideamons to stop the Church of Iamade from completing their newest game,
Larry Boy 2, Sins of the Righteous, Tears of the Fallen.
Because the last time their game came out, kids kept trolling them by jumping on their streams and singing,
God is bigger than the boogeyman.
Also, this isn't really part of the Alucideamon or the Alorbideamon, but at the end of their entry, they just kind of slapped on the VidGame aficionado feat. Basically, it allows you to identify a creature with your VidGame profession check once a day because, I don't know, you recognize it from
Welcome to Mel Gibson's Safari 3.
So that ends the vanilla entry on Deamons. And eagle-eyed viewers might notice that there's a bunch of time left in the video. So if you're only interested in strictly vanilla content, feel free to close the video. It's not like I worked really hard on this. My feelings totally won't be hurt or anything. Like, comment, and subscribe, I guess. So I really do fuck with the theme of supernatural creatures adapting to modern technology and society. For example, if a demon wanted to have someone play for their soul and then proceed to pull out a chessboard, I feel like most sci-fi people would say something like, "What game is this?" Or, "Oh, I've seen this in a museum." Or, "Mr. Demon, how do I click the book?" And would probably not be willing to bet their soul on a game they've never played before, but might feel more confident playing around a StarCraft 5 with their soul on the line. While their abilities make for some entertaining combat encounters, I feel like there's not really any abilities that lean into their themes and background. But before we talk about any hypothetical abilities, I want to go over their background to give some context. As I stated before, Deamons realized that time and mortal culture was a-changing, and started to get with the times. A lot of demons will prey upon people who have some sort of easily manipulatable flaw. But instead of preying on people who lust after power, money, food and drink, or those who lust after lust, they target those who are always craving entertainment. Specifically, people who have a bad case of and are able to draw life force from those with a serious video game obsession. And sometimes, those that die due to neglecting their physical needs because they chose to play video games instead of eating or drinking or moving around a little bit can become Alucideamons. Now to some of you that may sound stupid and far-fetched, because while we all have probably lost track of time and stayed up past our bedtimes, or called in sick to play a new game that just came out, you've probably skipped a meal or two at most, but playing to the point of death seems implausible. However, any viewers whose knees sound like an old fence may remember a small indie game that came out in the 2000s called World of Warcraft. And how every so often you would hear about someone who became hospitalized because they played for like 40 hours straight, or that their kids died because they decided to finish just one more raid instead of taking care of their child. Hell, I almost lost contact with a very good friend of mine because he kept playing instead of hanging out. And we had to snap him out of it by guessing his password and then changing it. And then after he started complaining about not being able to play on MySpace, we were like, wow, you must have gotten hacked, so I guess you're free to go LARPing with us on Saturday after all. So while a new demon could come around from someone who died while playing a video game due to virtual mortality, and therefore could come back as an Alucideamon, I feel like this is technically correct, but it leaves something thematically to be desired. The ways that I would change their current abilities is that for virtual mortality, I would add some sort of good old life draining, where they could heal themselves for half the amount of damage that their virtual mortality deals. And if you want to get really spicy, you could allow them to supernaturally age someone much like a ghost's corrupting touch if they make a melee attack against someone who is under the effects of virtual mortality. The only change I would make to Hazardous Reality is that the holograms magically take on the form of video game characters from games that you have played recently. Like, I would be a lot more scared of this.
Do-do-do-do-do-do, I'm drinking wine in the daytime. Do-do-do-do-do-do, I'm drinking wine in the daytime.
Yes, sir. Vestal reporting for duty. Please assume the position.
The fuck I am.
Then some bullshit from a Cathasan takeout flyer attacking me. It feels a bit more personal and gives a "we are watching" vibe. However, I feel like they would really benefit from some non-combat abilities that really emphasize the fact that they are pulling you down into the rot with them. You could go with the tried and true,
When they taught me to play this here guitar real good.
but instead it would be like, "What it do, my fellow youths? Today we're playing the hottest release of 317 AG, Half-Life 3. And mechanically, you would get the vid game aficionado feat, along with the skills and prerequisites to take it if you don't already meet those requirements. Or they could offer your players a demonic Magitech augment that, when activated, allows you to experience playing video games at an accelerated rate. Mechanically, this would allow you to activate the implant once per day to take a 10-minute rest in 1 minute, and an 8-hour rest in an hour. However, it would supernaturally age you 3D 10 months every time you activate it, with the stipulation that if you die while using it or due to old age, they get your soul. Also, the implant can be left on for longer if you really just want to experience playing video games for years at a time. However, you still need to eat and drink, so unless you're going to pull a Velox, you would also need to hook yourself up to some sort of life support system, or else you're just going to die of dehydration after a few days. But some of the fun features that the Deamons won't tell you about until after you let them install the augment is that the implant can't be removed through normal means, and that if you don't use it for a week, you start to have withdrawals as outlined on page 418 of the core rulebook. And while going through withdrawals, you get a +10 bonus to any checks you make related to playing video games, as the Deamons try and tempt you into turning your augment back on. Kind of like how when you try and cancel a service, all of a sudden the person on the phone has all sorts of amazing deals and upgrades for you. But if you are able to break the addiction, you're able to have the implant removed, and therefore don't have to worry about being an Alucideamon when you die. However, after removing the implant, you get a -5 penalty to any rolls related to you trying to play video games, as the Deamons curse you with bad RNG, crashes, and lag. So basically they hit you with Bethesda's bug. Another thing you could do is add an ability that acts like Bestow Curse, but the demon puts a curse on a piece of physical media used for storing video games. And once someone plays the game, they need to make an appropriate saving throw as if the Alorbideamon casted Bestow Curse on them. At that point, you could give them the standard debuff, or like the spell description says, you could look at the curses in the affliction table for inspiration. However, if you're feeling spicy, you could instead hit them with one of the curses from the Galactic Magic book. One way you could put these in your game would be to have these cursed games be something that they could either loot from either the body or the lair of an Alucideamon or an Alorbideamon. Because honestly, if your players find a copy of Limbo of the Lost,
Mr. Brick, sir, there's been another one. It be the deputy mayor. He's been found behind the jail. His soul has been taken.
on the body of an evil vindictive demon who does evil video game stuff all day and then proceeds to say, "Yeah, I'll put this in my computer," they kind of deserve to end up in a shitty internet creepypasta.
Be me, at an estate sale. See a Xbox 360 case that has Baldur's Gate 3 written in Sharpie.
Well everyone, that's going to do it for this video on Deamons. In the comments down below, tell me if you want to either run vanilla or my revised version of Alucideamons and Alorbideamons. And if you like this video, give it a like. I know you hear this a lot on every other video, but it really does tell the algorithm that this kind of content is something you're interested in. But more importantly, it really makes my day. Also, if you want to see more, subscribe and turn on the bell notification to see whenever I make new videos. Hey you rascal, thank you for watching the video. Click here to subscribe, click here to see one of our newer videos, and click here to see something random.